You've seen it. A man walks in, calm, silent, but the room shifts. People glance his way without knowing why. He speaks little, yet his presence says everything. He could be no one on paper, but in that moment, he owns the space. It is not luck. It is not talent. It is certainty. He acts like no one is better than him, and the world follows that lead. While others wait for permission, he assumes power. That is the rule. And if you do not play by it, you will always be beneath someone who does. Part 1. Confidence is assumed, not earned. You were taught to wait, to be humble, to let your work speak for itself. But no one listens to silence. No one rewards the man who hides his fire and hopes the world sees it. The truth is brutal. This world does not wait to be impressed. It watches how you move. It listens to your posture before your words. If your presence says you are unsure, no one will take the time to uncover your brilliance. Power does not knock politely. It steps in and takes its place. The man who acts like he belongs becomes the man who does. And the one who waits to feel confident never speaks, never moves, never becomes. That is why confidence is not a result. It is the starting point. It is not given. It is worn. Even when your hands shake, even when your mind doubts, you move with purpose. Not to deceive the world, but to show it who you are training yourself to be. You are not pretending. You are becoming. And the first step is to act like no one is better than you, until your body, your voice, and the world start to believe it. Part 2. The world rewards certainty, not skill. You believe talent is enough. That if you are good enough, people will notice. They won't, because the world is not built to seek out hidden brilliance. It is built to follow what is obvious, loud, and certain. People crave clarity. They are drawn to the one who looks like he knows, even if he doesn't. They would rather follow a fool who moves with conviction than a genius who hesitates. That is the tragedy. Skill without confidence is invisible. Intelligence without presence is ignored. You think you need to feel ready before you act, but no one ever feels ready. The only difference between the one who rises and the one who stays behind is the decision to move anyway. The world sees confidence and calls it truth. It sees hesitation and smells weakness. So act certain, even when you are not. Speak as if your words carry weight. Move like your path is already marked, and the world will rearrange itself around you. Not because you earned it, but because you demanded it. Part 3. Every moment sends a signal. Before you speak, before you act, you are already being read. The way you walk, the way you stand, how long you hold eye contact, how you breathe, how you listen, all of it is a signal. People respond to that signal before they ever hear your ideas. If you shrink, they assume you are weak. If you avoid the gaze, they assume you have no power. If you sit small, speak softly, hesitate for even a second, they take note. Not because they are cruel, but because they are wired to follow strength. And when you fail to send strength, they simply move past you. Your presence must speak louder than your words. It must say, I belong here. It must say, I do not need permission. Because if you wait to be invited into the room, someone else will take your place and act like it was theirs from the start. Power is not about waiting to be seen. It is about sending a message so clear, so certain, that people have no choice but to see you. Part 4. Presence over preparation. You think preparation is your shield. That if you work harder, plan longer, think deeper, you will rise. But that is not how power works. The world does not reward the man who prepares the most. It rewards the man who shows up like he already owns the outcome. You have seen it yourself. The loud one with shallow ideas takes the spotlight. The quiet one with substance gets passed over. Why? Because people respond to presence more than they respond to merit. They follow the one who speaks first, who claims space, who acts like the crown is already on his head. Meanwhile, you sit with your perfect plan, your polished insight, and wait for someone to ask your opinion. They never will. Not because they do not need you, but because you told them not to notice. You told them with your silence, your hesitation, your nervous energy. You trained them to overlook you, and now you have to retrain them. Not with words, but with presence. Show up like you're already chosen, and the world will begin to believe it. Part 6. Repetition creates identity. Machiavelli understood one thing most men never grasp. Power is not about who you are. It is about what you repeatedly show the world. Appear strong, and you will be treated as strong. Repeat certainty, and the world will call you a leader. That is the foundation of all rule. The illusion becomes reality because people do not investigate deeply. They believe the image, and the image becomes truth. You may doubt yourself, but if you carry yourself like a man of command every day, soon others will forget to question it. This is what Machiavelli meant when he warned that it is not enough to be good. You must appear good. You must appear powerful. You must appear unshakable. And the way to do that is through disciplined repetition. The posture, the voice, the eye contact, the stillness, again and again until your nervous system learns the performance as truth. This is not lying. This is sculpting. The prince does not wait to be crowned. He behaves like a ruler until the crown is no longer questioned. And that is what you must do. Show the same image long enough, and even your enemies will begin to believe it. Part 7. The psychology of assumption. Machiavelli taught that appearances hold more power than truth. He warned that men are more easily deceived by what they see than what they understand. If you assume power, the world will treat you as powerful. If you assume weakness, the world will forget you. That is the psychology of assumption. The prince who walks like he has already won convinces the court that he has. People do not follow the most qualified. They follow the most convincing. They follow the one who acts as if power is already his. The man who doubts himself teaches others to doubt him. The man who moves like he cannot be questioned removes the need for explanation. That is not arrogance. It is strategy. You must stop asking if you are enough and start acting as if you are. Not because you are faking something, but because you are teaching the world what to believe. Machiavelli did not care for fairness. He cared for influence. And influence is given to the one who walks like he is owed everything. This is not about domination. It is about self-command. When you stop waiting and start assuming, the world stops challenging and starts adjusting. Part 8. You're not faking it. You're becoming. Machiavelli knew that identity is not fixed. It is built, rehearsed, sharpened. When he wrote about the prince, he was not describing a man born to lead. He was describing a man who learns to lead by acting like one. You are not pretending. You are transforming. Every movement, every word, every glance is part of your reconstruction. At first, it feels like a costume, but with repetition, it fuses into your skin. That is the art. You walk taller not because you're trying to trick anyone, but because your body needs to know what power feels like. You speak with weight, not to impress, but to rewire your voice until it stops shaking. This is how power is claimed. Not overnight, not all at once, but through deliberate performance again and again until it becomes unconscious. Machiavelli would say it is not the man's nature that matters, but what he chooses to appear as. And if you choose to appear powerful, calm, deliberate, the world will respond long before you feel ready. Because perception does not wait for truth. It accepts whatever is repeated with conviction. So repeat strength, repeat presence, repeat dominance, until you no longer have to remind yourself who you are becoming. Part 9. Power is a mirror. Machiavelli wrote that men must either be conquered or destroyed because they will never forget an injury. But what he left unspoken was this: power is not just domination. Power is reflection. The world mirrors what you project. If you carry fear, the world becomes hostile. If you project confidence, the world submits. This is not philosophy, it is survival. People respond to energy faster than ideas. They trust what they can feel over what they can prove. When you walk with hesitation, they sense it and lower your rank. When you walk with calm certainty, they adjust their behavior before you say a word. This is the invisible law that governs every interaction. You may think your intentions are clear, but the world sees only the signal. The man who commands respect is not always the most capable. He is the one who makes people feel his authority before he earns it. This is why power is not granted by merit. It is granted by belief, and belief is triggered by behavior. Machiavelli did not trust virtue. He trusted force, both visible and invisible. And your invisible force is your presence. Project strength, and the world gives you room. Project out, and the world closes in. That is the mirror, and it never lies. Part 10. This is war, not a fair test. Machiavelli never believed in fairness. He believed in advantage. He believed in controlling appearances, commanding perception, and striking before the enemy could respond. And in your world, the enemy is not always a man. It is the system that tells you to wait, the culture that tells you to be humble, the voice in your head that says you're not ready. But this is not a test where the best rise naturally. This is war. And in war, hesitation is death. If you walk into a room and wait to be noticed, you have already lost. The crown does not go to the man who deserves it. It goes to the man who acts like it is already on his head. While you were preparing your speech, someone else claimed the position. While you were trying to be liked, someone else was being obeyed. That is the brutality Machiavelli saw in every court, every kingdom, every man. Appearances rule. Confidence wins. Power does not belong to the one who waits. It belongs to the one who dares to assume it. So from this moment forward, you must choose. Be the man who performs doubt and gets ignored, or be the one who walks like victory is already his. Not because he has won, but because he refuses to believe anyone else deserves to. You want to lead? Then stop waiting. Machiavelli understood that power does not fall into the hands of the passive. It bows to those who command without asking. From this point on, every room you enter is a stage. Every glance, every breath, every silence is part of the role you were born to claim. The man who waits to feel powerful never will. The man who acts like he already is becomes. And once you become, the world forgets you were ever uncertain. You do not owe the world humility. You owe it your presence. So walk like the crown is already on your head. Speak like your words shape outcomes. Move like your place is already secured. Because the moment you hesitate, someone else will take what you were too careful to claim. The world does not wait. It kneels for the one who never needed permission. Power is not given. Power is assumed. And the one who dares to assume it first rules.